All right. Hey, everybody. I'm back again this week. Got a few announcements real quick. Um, Clark Hill lake level is at 323.29. Temps around 41. Um, Wanted to let y'all know about, like I said, camping reservations for the 26th season are open for Hall Creek and Modoc. Wanted to throw that out there. There's a little local news for y'all. The DU banquet, the Ducks Unlimited banquet, is on the 5th of March. And y'all have heard me talking about it. It's going to be a lot of really cool stuff there. Hope you guys can try and get some tickets. There's definitely some tables and stuff left if y'all want to try and come to that. It's going to be really fun. Lots of really great food and drinks and camaraderie, and it's going to be great. Also, the the Georgia Lina Outdoor Dream Foundation has a clay shoot on May 3rd, and they're still looking for sponsors for that if you know anybody. Also, it should be, let me check this out real quick. Let me get my computer ready. Sorry. Hopefully y'all can hear me. That's what I meant to test out a minute ago, actually. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. That's what I meant to test out a minute ago. Okay, it's working. Okay, cool. All right, so anyways, so back to what I was saying. It should be a thing that pops up once I'm live about, it's a GoFundMe, and if it's not, I'm going to post it later on when I'm done. For someone I went to school with that's not doing so good. For Susan McBride. Okay, they can hear me. Good deal. So if anybody wants to donate to them, that would be awesome. Let's see, and that's about it. And the guest this week is from the tongue tied, the New York area, and his name is Brett Jacobson. And I'm just going to try and get him on in here. Let's see. I don't see him yet. Well, Brett, if you see me, or the join button, look for it. Oh, there we go. Add. Boom. Should be. What's going on?
Hey, what's
There he
good?
is. It zooms in a lot now on you on Facebook Live. I'll go ahead and warn you. So I got to fix my camera here in a minute too.
Okay, you just let me know when you want me to go sideways or vertical.
Yeah, vertical if you don't mind. That'd probably be the best.
Yeah, that's fine. We're good. I mean, I
Right.
look husky either way, so.
I know, right? I'm trying not to look too as huffy.
Look, it's that northern insulation.
Northern insulation.
You know, when yeah, it's funny. Somebody when I was hunting in Indiana earlier this fall, somebody was like, "Oh, you should be used to that cold. You're from New York," and I'm like, "Man, we're not used to it until like January, February. Cold
Is
is
that when
cold. I don't care where you are, but."
it starts getting really cold?
Uh it's like it's that's when it gets to the point where it's been like 40 or 50 straight days, like in the teens, 20s, and maybe we get to a high of 30. But
I
yeah, right
got you.
around February is when you start shoveling snow in shorts.
Oh, I got you, man.
You just get used to it, so.
So, man, give us a little background, man. How tell us a little bit about yourself, and then kind of how you got into the outdoors, as a youngin.
That's it. Well, first things first, obviously being from upstate New York, we got to give a shout out to the U.S. men's hockey team. We're going for gold. And being from basically the southern shore of Canada, we got a big one coming up. So I actually just started celebrating about 20 minutes ago when we just crushed Slovakia, so we're good. All right, we're trying to regroup here. No, my name is Brett Jacobson. I'm 41 years old, and like everybody else, hunting is not demographic whatsoever. Just like you guys, you good old boys from Georgia or Mississippi. You know, uh,
Yeah.
full disclosure, I am from New York, but not that New York, not that not that cesspool. I'm actually about 6 hours away from New York City, so I'm far
Gotcha.
from the concrete.
Yeah.
Um,
I figured that. I mean, I
yeah,
figured as much. Yeah.
yeah. So it's funny, and we'll get into it, but my born and raised in a hunting family. As soon as I could walk, my dad had me jumping on rabbit piles and trucking through the snow and blood trailing deer and stuff like that. And then as I got older, it just it became an obsession. And it's just like everybody else around the country, but we're the forgotten part of the country where we got some old boys that live to die and or live to breathe and die to hunt. So, and I'm no different. So, but
Man, I don't notice a strong like New York accent. Like I already knew this because I watched some of your videos already, but like
yeah.
I bet other people are probably like, he don't sound. Is 6 hours enough away to not have the accent?
Well, I mean, fun fact for you, I'm a Midwest Yankee. So my family is actually is from the Indiana area. So I'm a
Yeah.
hybrid, So every once in a while, when I get on the phone with my buddies from Mississippi, the hillbilly comes out. But
Oh yeah.
when I'm talking to customers on a daily basis, I church it up and get a little bit more New Yorker for you. I say coffee, not coffee, and we say
Okay.
pop, not soda or soda
Yep.
pop or whatever.
Yep. I
So
remember that.
yeah, so the dialogue's a little different, but when I'm not hunting, yeah, I'm actually a professional chef. So it's weird. A lot of people, well, every hunter cooks. You know what I mean? Like every hunter
Yeah.
cooks. But I actually started my professional career. I worked for a Fortune 500 company in sales management and leadership. Um, so I really didn't get into. I had no restaurant experience. I got into the cooking industry really late in life, and it's had its up and downs. It's the struggle is real sometimes trying to balance, work life, family, hunting. It's been really hard the last couple of years to go out of state, which is a huge passion of mine, and either chase whitetails in the Midwest or Kentucky's in the South, and it's been kind of a struggle, but you figure it out, and
Yeah.
yeah, so as I in college and stuff like that, I started messing with, cooking wild game and things like that. I would always feed my roommates. I'd go away on the weekend. I actually guided in college. That's actually how I paid for college. I was a duck and goose guide. And
Oh,
so I'd go home on the weekends and shoot a bunch of ducks and geese with my buddies, come back to the dorms, and then we eat all week. And yeah, it's actually when we get into it, it's one of the recipes that I'll share for you. It's an oldie but goodie, and it's won me
yeah.
lots
I
of
was
chili
going to ask you
contests.
towards the end, whenever we're about to get off or
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
let everybody know a good recipe before we go up here.
yeah, absolutely. Hang on 2 seconds. I gotta let my dog out. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Better?
Lydia, while we're doing that, will you put my phone down like this, angle it towards me down a little bit?
You gotta love when they sleep all day, and then as soon as you get on to something that you actually want to do, they want to get up,
Nope.
go
Other way.
outside.
Yeah. No, you're good, man. I'm trying to get my daughter right now to help me out a little bit too.
That a girl. Start them young.
That's right. Oh, now it's crooked. Turn it this way just a little bit. Towards me. Libby, look at me. Like this way? Here. I'll get it.
I mean, if you want to just stare at the racks in the back, that's fine too. We can
I
talk about
know.
those.
Now we can talk about all that.
Uh,
All right. So, anyways, so where'd you leave off at?
uh, yeah, no, just a lot of people, obviously, when we're hunters, obviously, so cooking and stuff like that, wild game. It was it was weird. I kind of worked backwards. Like I got really passionate about cooking early on, but then went a completely different way in my professional career. And then only to kind of come back and later on in life, about 5 years ago, a buddy of mine actually opened up a restaurant, and it was right after COVID. And I'm sure this is a very trendy topic, but COVID changed the workforce, and he couldn't find anybody to work, and nobody wanted to get sweaty or actually do hands-on work anymore. People just wanted to kind of work from home, and they completely adapted to that lifestyle. So he
Yeah.
called me up one day, and he was just like, hey man, can you come help me? And I'm like, dude, I'm a director of sales and marketing. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, he's like, I've eaten so much venison from you. Trust me, you could do this. Yeah. So then I started working there, and I was doing both. So my day job, and then I'd just come in and help them out. And the chef that I actually learned from, he unfortunately he had some medical issues. Great guy, absolutely loved working with him. He was super super talented, and but he had some medical issues, and he just couldn't do it anymore. He just physically couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So they're like, "You're in," and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! I can't do this. What are you talking about? You'll be fine. You'll figure it out." And I'm like, what do I do here? All of a sudden, I'm in a completely different industry, and then the first couple months was just getting my tail kicked, and it was rough. It was rough. It'd be like just flying out to Colorado, buying a over-the-counter elk tag, and just saying like, I guess I have to walk uphill now,
Yeah.
and then you just figure it out. It's like anything. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then as things started to progress, I remember that first year being head chef. I actually went on a turkey hunting trip to Kentucky, and I was gone for like a week, and it just seemed like all hell broke loose. I was gone, and my phone's ringing nonstop, and I'm just like, guys, I'm turkey hunting right now. I'm on vacation. You guys don't understand this, but this is my. I need this to come back and be okay, and
Yeah.
and then before you know it, the just it was a steep climb, but real fast climb. And then I started winning awards, and made a little bit of a name for myself. And then yeah, it was pretty crazy, but it's been a pretty cool journey. But we'll talk about that at the end with as far as recipes. But
Oh yeah.
that's pretty much it. I work to hunt, not the other way around.
I know that's right. Heck yeah. But yeah, man, that's really cool. So tell me about the deer hunting up that way. So do you do a lot of deer hunting in New York where you're at, or do you do it like out of state or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, where I live in Rochester, New York, which is right on
Mhm.
the shores of Lake Ontario. So, we're actually known for like salmon and trout fishing, right?
Okay.
So, I want to say if you go just a little bit further northeast, the Salmon River is like one of the top 10 places in the country if you're like a salmon, fly fisherman, all that stuff, right? But Sandy Creek, which is where I grew up on, Oak Orchard Creek, or River, they're world renowned. When you in the fall, when it's deer season here, and I'm driving, and you go by all these places, you see license plates from Georgia, you see them from every Atlantic coast state, you see them from the Midwest, you see Canadian license plates. Like everybody migrates to Rochester, New York to catch salmon. Uh, and I just drive right by those people and go deer hunting. So, but yeah, here in Rochester, it's a little bit more urban hunting. So, I'm not quite Lee from Seek One, but I've definitely shot my fair share of deer in a 1 acre area, where I could smell, I could smell Burger King because I could see people walking out of Aldi's and Walmart and stuff like that.
That sounds
So
good.
we got to get
Some kind of
creative
boat.
up here. But then, you just drive a little bit further east and you're in the Catskills or you're in the Adirondack or the St. Lawrence Seaway, and it's a completely different beast.
It's probably like being in Jurassic Park or something, I'd imagine. Those are a lot of acreage up there.
Yeah, you can get lost real easy, and I have done that. But it's weird. Like New York is so diverse, and a lot of people don't think of it this way. Obviously, when you talk about deer hunting and whitetails and stuff like that, now we're on the up and up. I'm not going to call us a sleeper state yet, but these last couple years, we've kind of hit that sweet spot where the number of deer hunters has dropped, so the age of deer, average age of deer, and then you have like the educational aspect of like quality deer management. So this past year was like a boom for us. You start seeing more mature deer. You start seeing more people passing on deer because we're a 2 buck state. So you could shoot one during bow season, then you get a muzzleloader and a gun tag.
I got
And
you.
so back in my younger days, you shoot everything that moves. My dad, who I learned from, there's not a 7 pointer that was walking by him.
Yeah.
It's like you see a deer, you're shooting it. But then, but now we've hit that sweet spot where like quality deer management, that education aspect of it, and then the number of hunters has dropped drastically for New York. I mean, it's really hard to hunt here. We struggle we struggle a lot with access. Um, and it's gotten worse and worse over the last like 10, 15 years. But now, like if you have a hunting spot, no matter how big or how small, man, you're holding on to it with dear life. Because unlike where I go in Indiana, Indiana just does a great job. They're like Illinois. They just keep adding public land. There's so many opportunities to public hunt out there, but we're not that. We don't have a whole lot of public land. There's spots, there's little, it looks like chicken pox on a map. There's little pockets where you can go on public, but so does everybody else, which is not, it's not an excuse or anything like that, but it's just, it's the nature of the beast. But yeah, you go up to the Adirondack Mountains, man. That's some dark woods up there. It's where you get into the people that have refrigerators on their porch and 8 trucks on cinder blocks in their front yard, and you don't you're not knocking on those doors.
No, you're not. No, nope. All right, I'm not doing that. I'm
No,
not trying to build that wrong turn movie.
yeah, I'm not against having a militia, but I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go walking on their property.
That's right. Hey, Cody Dowdy said, "Hey, Brett and Brent."
Oh boy, yeah, we're gonna have to get that situated out, man. We're gonna have to come up with some nicknames because that silent N that you slide in that name just kind of ruins it for the rest of us.
I know this could be just Brett and Brent, but then I had to
Yeah,
go and.
yeah. Cody's the man, dude. That guy makes me laugh.
Yeah, I had him on a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
But hey, sorry, my dog was eating paper. My daughter told me or something. There stuff. But anyway, sorry. But yeah, he was on my podcast a couple weeks ago. He's a great guy, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's great, man. He's got a great perspective. He's got a great attitude. He's super positive. He's super genuine. Like you could see that a mile away. Like he's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, he's doing his thing too. I think he's getting ready to get into some trapping or something. He was telling me about.
Every
He
day's
always,
different with that guy.
I know, right?
No, he's great, man. He's passionate. He's doing it, man. He's living it the way that he wants to. He's making life changes to support his passion, and I think that's what you're starting to see a lot more and more with this with the hunting industry and the hunting community is there's definitely there's definitely opportunities out there for people, to either do a podcast or start self filming or anything like that.
For sure.
And I think the more people that do it, yeah, there's some people that come off a little different, but for the most part, this community is super supportive and it's super, and it doesn't matter where you're from in the country.
For
Um,
sure.
Granted, I've got some stories for you that we'll get into
Oh yeah,
here.
I
But
know. I know.
it's super supportive, and the hunting community, the outdoor community as a whole, I think everybody kind of roots for each other, you
Yep.
know. But then there's that flip side where you start to compete. But Facebook, social media, podcasts, just even these live chats and stuff like that have given the opportunity to connect hunters from all across the country, and then you start to find out, yeah, that guy from New York or that dude from Georgia, they're pretty cool guys, like you can get
Yep.
along no problem.
Exactly right. That's what I love about it too. You hit the nail on the head. I agree totally. It's really cool to be able to talk to people from all over, man.
Absolutely. All right, so what's our first topic of the night, man? What do you want to get
So,
into?
so now turkey hunting. I know I was told that you wanted to talk about a funny wild story. You
Oh,
want
the
to?
Kentucky. Yeah, the Jeremy Bell hunting. Yeah, I got it. All right. Shout out to Jeremy Bell, the public grind. You want to talk about another dude that's just absolutely passionate about the outdoors? Uh,
Uh,
Man, that dude. I don't know if there's a harder working person that likes to see other people succeed. And the funny thing is, it's just kind of like what we're doing right now. I want to say 6, 7 years ago. It was right at the end of COVID or during COVID. I can't remember.
you
Um,
said 6, 7.
so just 6, 7. So during COVID, the state of Kentucky shut down out-of-state license sales, and the year after that, New York, our turkey population, has gradually gone down and down and down and down, and that's a whole different topic for a whole other day. But so I started, I had already started hunting out of state, but I'd go to like one state, two states. But COVID, my job at that time, I was a director of marketing and sales for a wildlife remediation company that specialized in airport contracts. So basically, preventing like bird strikes and stuff like that. Well, nobody was flying, so I didn't have a whole lot to do. So I picked Tennessee opens this day, Kentucky opens this day, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. I'm going to live out of my car for like, 20 days, and I'm going to hit up all these states and go shoot birds. And that's exactly what I did. And the ironic thing is, I went on a platform. It was like Indiana Turkey Hunters or something like that on Facebook. I just said, hey, I'm coming from New York. I've hunted deer in this county. Can anybody tell me if it's good for turkeys or not? And Jeremy Bell answers it, and he's like, I'm just a little north of there. If you're coming through, I just moved here. I don't have a whole lot of hunting friends. Let's meet up and let's hunt. I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So we exchanged numbers, and I'm on my way, and I was driving through Pennsylvania, and I just hit the Ohio line, and he shot me a text, and he was at the time, I think he was like a union sheet metal worker, and he had just finished a job, so he had a little bit of a layoff. And I was like, why don't you just meet me in Kentucky tomorrow? And he's like, huh, like the light bulb went off, right? And he's like, well, where are you hunting? So I sent him the coordinates, and he's like, that's only an hour and a half from me. I'm like, yeah, Kentucky's the border of Indiana, man. And he's like, hang on, let me ask my wife. So he calls me back, and he's like, I'll meet you at the boat launch at 3:30. And I'm like, yes. I was like, all right, cool. So he goes online, he buys his license, and then I pull into this boat launch at like 3 o'clock, and I had just drove from New York and never met the guy. Really had never. I had maybe one phone conversation with him, and he pulls in, opens the door of his truck. He's like, "Are you Brett?" I'm like, "Are you Jeremy?" And then after that, it's just it just snowballed into a bunch of just random things. But so we meet, and then we had never been to this public property before, and we're both out of state hunters. So I had done a lot of e-scouting, and I picked the highest point, on this WMA. And I'm like, if I was a turkey, I'd roost here, I'd roost here, I'd roost here, I'd roost here. So there was this great pipeline that ran through it, and we didn't know because, like in New York, like where I'm from, like the concept of driving through public land, no, you park on the road and you walk, right? There's no trails, there's no whatever. So he's never done this before. So we park at the bottom of this freaking mountain, right? And we walk up this gravel road all the way to the top. And I'm a big dude, right? I'm 6'1", I'm 280, 275. So, he's in great shape, and I'm like, we get to the top and I'm like, breathing, I'm sweating. At this point, I'm pretty much just in a t-shirt. And so we get all the way up to the top, and all of a sudden we hear this like truck bombing up this gravel road to the top of the mountain. And all of a sudden he just like slams on the brakes, and we're standing at the gate. And this guy gets out and goes, "Y'all hunting?" And I'm like, yeah. We're at the top of a mountain, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning, dude. We got guns and camo on. What do you think we're doing? So Jeremy's like, yeah, we're going over here. And he starts getting a little fresh with them. And the guy's like, so all of a sudden we start walking down the trail, right? All of a sudden, like, I look back, this flashlight is like gaining on us. And I'm like, look, I know I'm slow and I'm slightly obese, but I'm not that slow. Like, this guy was like sprinting down the trail, and he just takes off. So Jeremy's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing? And we told you where we're going. And he's like, yeah. He goes, wait, are you the New York license plate parked down at the bottom? And yeah. He goes, well, welcome to Kentucky. And it just takes off. And it's like the most prototypical, like, public land jerk thing. So we just kind of look at each other, and Jeremy catches up with the guy and goes, listen, we were here first. If we hear a bird, we're moving in. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, no problem, no problem. So this guy's like talking like normal. Like, you know how quiet it is in the turkey woods.
Yeah.
So this guy's just talking normal. And we just kind of look at each other, and Jeremy goes, oh, welcome to Kentucky, I guess. Jeez, right? So we go up to the top of this mountain on this pipeline, and I kid you not, 100 yards from where this guy parked, where I had my first pin, where I thought a bird would roost, not knowing this place, just looking at it from a geographical aspect of it and contour lines, a bird gobbles. And we had just walked right past this bird. I mean, he was literally just on the up and up of the gravel road on top of this little knob. And, I look at Jeremy, and then all of a sudden, my next pin, a bird gobbles, and then birds gobble. I mean, Kentucky was just loaded with turkeys. And it was the most, I'm like, holy crap! Like, this is like Christmas morning. There's birds everywhere. Yeah. And 40 minutes later, I end up shooting one of the biggest turkeys I've ever shot. So I mean, and as soon as I shoot that turkey, Jeremy looks at me and goes, welcome to Kentucky. And then he shoots a bird after that. So we double up on opening day of Kentucky. And then we come back to camp, and Jeremy Aaron and Daniel Lemon are camped right next to us from DIY Outdoors. And Jeremy knew them. And I'm like, I don't know these guys, And we start chatting it up, and I still keep in contact with both those guys. So, like, out of this whole Kentucky trip, I got 3 really cool hunting buddies that are all either from Indiana or Mississippi, and we randomly met in Kentucky at some, whatever, and still talk to this day. It's crazy, but
like, how crazy is that? Like, that goes to going back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago about
Yeah,
hunting and being for everybody, like all walks of life, man. We
yeah.
meet up and
But the crazy part about that. So after I shot my bird, right now I had worked all night. I drove through the night. So by like noon, I'm dead. I'm gassed.
yeah,
Like I was like, Jeremy, I gotta go. I gotta take a nap. Like we can hunt all day. In New York, you gotta stop at noon.
yeah,
So I just literally like we're out in the middle of the woods, and I'm like, here's the keys to my car. Like, hey, random stranger, here's the keys to
yeah,
my car. We've known each other for 5 hours now. Here, I
yeah.
trust you. And then I walk back to camp and pitch up camp, take a nap, and then like all of a sudden, I can literally hear it. I can hear Jeremy just low riding this Toyota Camry. He's got the radio blasted, driving down this gravel road like 65, and you just hear him hit the brakes and then that down the road, and then he turns right into camp and he goes, "Welcome to Kentucky. We got another one." And it's
Oh,
just like, and it was like that the whole week. We just doubled up. We tagged out. I moved on to Indiana. He started shooting birds in Indiana. I tagged out in Indiana, and it just kept going that way. And now, 6, 7 years later, 6, 7. Him and I are great friends. You know, him and I are great friends. We've started a tradition, where we've kind of gotten back to that whole, camaraderie, deer camp, turkey camp. There's a small group of us. There's four of us, Brad Hunter and Eli Jackson. They're all from down in southern Indiana. And this year, we kind of reversed our focus and kind of was just like, you know what? We need to get back to our roots, man. Like this industry, this community, it's all, solo hunting, solo filming, solo this. And you kind of forget what it's like to hunt with friends and how much fun it really is, and it
yep,
kind of takes away from the experience where, yeah, it's cool chasing deer that you got on trail camera all summer long and stuff. But to do it with like your friends and family, like, and get back to those days where like a group of you go out and go hunting or share deer camp, man, it was the best time of my life. It was great, and I can't wait to do it again. And like I said, it's turned into a tradition. And now that week in November and that week in April is always penciled in. Indiana,
yeah.
I'm out.
When does so that's what I was going to ask. When's y'all turkey and deer seasons? As far as like New York area.
So deer season always we just started this doe only season,
Mhm.
and that's usually right around the second week of September to the third week of September. Um and then the opener of archery is always October 1st. And
Okay.
that runs until the second Sunday of November. And then this is where New York struggles, right? So we have just a ridiculously long gun season. So our gun season, depending on how the calendar falls,
Uh,
like like we don't get that like in Ohio. Gun season opens up for a weekend, then it goes back to bow, then it's muzzleloader only, then it's a special shotgun season. Like I wish we were that. But we literally like right before, the week, usually it's like the week before Thanksgiving,
mhm.
depending on how the calendar falls. But from like November 18th until almost Christmas. So the best part of the season, it's nothing but the Orange Army out there. And
Yeah,
trust me, I'm one of them. I love it, right? Give me a 12 gauge slug and a cup of coffee and a and an old rickety tree stand, and I'm happy.
yeah,
But when you start hunting other states and you start seeing how they do it, like you really kind of get envious, and then you understand why Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois, Iowa can't, like, you understand why now those states are where they're at.
yeah. You mean as far as in terms of like producing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything favors the deer, not the hunter, so much. You know, and when I say that, like, like Indiana being a $1 tag. That state produced the highest number of deer total that they've ever had this past year, and that's during an EHD year.
Yeah.
And it's
That's really
like,
good.
think about that. The
Mm-hmm.
record number of EHD, but yet also the record number of deer take. It was up like 3,000. That's my numbers. But then you have New York. We're losing hunters left and right, but we're also losing access to property because these the days of family farms and stuff are pretty much going away. And then you have these leasing companies and so on and so forth, and you know, everybody in the everybody who owns property now knows that they can make money off of it, and they do that. And New York is one of those grimy states. Unfortunately, I live here and I'm a New Yorker, but sometimes I hate it. If you don't have a checkbook, you're not hunting.
So, around where we're at, it's actually very long as well, man. It's even longer. It's oh gosh, so like South Carolina, for instance, is August 15th until like I want to say they're gonna roast me for this, but I want to say it's like January 1st. It's somewhere give or take up in there. And ours is like bow comes in like second week in September, gun comes in give or take second week of October, and both of those last all the way up until like second week in January.
I mean, I mean, look,
I don't know,
maybe
but I
maybe
don't
this
know
is
the
my
difference.
northern insulation talking. But who in their right mind wants to go to South Carolina in August and sit in a
Um,
deer stand?
they'll do it. They go in shorts and a tank top. Some of them go without any clothes on. Just I've heard crazy stories, man.
Yeah, it's like a Morgan Wallen concert. Then
I'm telling
like
you, man.
I'm just wearing
I'm
Daisy
telling
do yeah, wearing freaking cut off jeans with the freaking cowboy or with the snake boots.
you.
Look, Jeremy Bell can attest to this. I'm petrified of snakes, so I try not to cross like that West Virginia, Appalachian Trail where like rattlesnakes start to creep in. You know, I'm good with my little, I'll take I-90 all the way across the United States and I'll stay right there. But
You're not
Jeremy
telling
always
me.
messes. Yeah, Jeremy always messes with me. He'll send me videos of him picking up rat snakes and whatnot. I'm just
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh. But like, I
he
just
loves
bought
those,
some.
man.
I bought some snake-proof like shin guard gaiters that strap onto my boots because I'm hunting with Cody Dowdy in Georgia this year. So
You
we're
got
trying to
to.
figure out the dates because I forgot and he forgot that their opener is the same weekend as Easter Sunday. So I'm
No,
like, oh, so I might have to go down there that Monday and drive straight through, which it's gonna be a drive.
that'd be cool. Heck yeah, man. Wish y'all the best. That's gonna be fun.
Hey man, they say Georgia turkeys are tough, so we're gonna put that to the test.
That's what people's been telling me, man. I haven't never really got into it to be honest with you. I got offered this year a couple of times, and we'll see. I might get into it, but I know
Well,
nothing about it to be honest with you, except for what I've watched on YouTube and TV and stuff over the years.
hey man, if you ever get a chance to come out to Indiana or Kentucky, hit up Jeremy Bell. That's your guy right there. That guy lives. There's nobody who scouts harder. Like I make fun of him, and people make fun of him, and there's some people in the community that kind of give him a little crap for it. That
Uh,
guy is the king of sharing pins, right? And if you look at his Onyx, man, I mean, holy crap. And I mean, like, and how he remembers it, it's just beyond me, right? But that dude, he lives. I mean, he's made more friends in the outdoor industry. I mean, obviously, I told you my story. I'm not
yeah,
going to say I'm the first, but I'm the first. But like that whole like community, Facebook, social media stuff. I mean, that guy, to his credit too, man. And he wears the hat. He wears it well. He lives it, breathes it. That's him. He's genuine. That's genuinely him. That guy lives to help people be successful in the outdoors. And and there's more people like that, and
Yep.
you wouldn't think that, like Cody. you know um Cody, I don't know him from Adam, and out of nowhere, he's just like, want to swap, and I'm like, sure, you want to, because he was trout fishing or something. I'm like, dude, I
Uh,
live in the trout and salmon capital of the world. Bring your bow. We'll go shoot stuff too. But like, yeah, dude, like I live on Lake Ontario, man. Like there's salmon all over the place. Like, and I never think about it that way because it's just, you want salmon, yeah, go.
yeah,
But like for you guys down south, like
it's a
to be
delicacy.
sitting, yeah, to be sitting in this like scenic river with like all this foliage and stuff. I take
Oh,
it for
yeah,
granted because it's my backyard.
exactly.
But
That's why I'm telling you. In that video, like on YouTube, I was like, oh my God, those woods look so amazing.
yeah. I take it, and unfortunately, I take it for granted. Um, like ice fishing, for example. Pulling big pike out of the ice. Or
Mhm.
my buddy
Yeah,
catching
that's on my
lake,
bucket list.
yeah, catching lake trout. And it's like, now social media, gives somebody like Cody or somebody like you access to somebody like me. I mean, I'm not a professional hunter. Have I been successful? Yeah, I've been successful. If I died today, I'd be totally okay walking into heaven being like, you know, I've shot a buck of a lifetime and it's great, and it was on, it's on public land, which we'll get to. But,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, no, it's definitely like, it's definitely cool to like make these connections and then trade a hunt. Like, I've always wanted to hunt Georgia, like the Georgia pine thing.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, dude, I want nothing more than to shoot a turkey in the Georgia pines
Well, there's
or the
plenty
North
of it
Carolina
there.
pines or South Carolina. Like, I want nothing more than that. And but then like, yeah, you come up here and you're fly fishing and catching steelhead right out of Lake Ontario. Like, I take it for granted all the time. Or you're pulling up a 40-inch northern pike through the ice.
Oh,
Like,
that'd be awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
or
that's
some
cool.
jumbo jack perch.
Yeah.
And my buddies and I mean, I've gone out 3 times this year ice fishing. And but like I take it for granted because it's always there. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
15 minutes from the lake.
Gosh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, and then you go half hour south, and I'm in the Finger Lakes region, which is a
Uh-huh.
whole different. Yeah, Finger Lakes region is dope. That place is awesome. But yeah, so there's the Kentucky story for you. There's the, but and it kind of leads into why we're even talking today. So
That's
and
exactly right.
yeah,
He
and
Jeremy said, "Welcome to Kentucky," and then he said, "Rhythm with the tism."
that's coined and trademarked. No, but this year I know we were going to talk about it, but like this year I had I guess I had the opportunity to be self filmed for the first time. You want to talk about an experience, man? All these guys today, you see them you see them online, you see them on YouTube, and they're all great. I mean, for them to do that, man, that's a whole different ball game. And now to think that just about when we're growing up and you're seeing the Michael Waddells and the Philip Culpeppers, the
Yep.
Jordans and stuff like that. Um, Now that like anybody can put together a YouTube channel and go head to head and make money, you know, it's pretty
Yep.
crazy. So a couple years back, Jeremy started the Public Grind. That's his channel. And he asked me to come to Indiana this year. I was going to go anyways, but I usually hunt about an hour south of where he lives. And we put a plan together, and because I usually go by myself or with one other guy, and he threw the offer out. He's like, "Look, man," he's like, "I got 26 straight days off. I'm already tagged out." He's like, "Why don't you come here and let's get you on camera?" He's like, "I want all the smoke. I don't want you to be anything other than yourself." And I'm like, "Careful what you wish for, man." Like, there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with me. And he's like, "No, come here. You can stay with me. Let's go." So his family was great. His wife Lauren was awesome. His kid Branson was great. It was amazing. It was such a cool experience. So I go there right. I mean, right in the heart of the rut. I mean, I could not have timed it any better. Um, I got down there like maybe November 4th or so. And
Mhm.
when I got down there, the first couple days was like really mild temperatures, right? And I'm hunting these open hardwood oak flats and stuff. So the scenery is just epic, right? And it had all the intangibles that you go to the Midwest for, right? You're hunting public land. You're, you're in the rut. Bucks are chasing does. Fresh sign everywhere. And you're with one of your best friends. And he just so happens to start, he's videoing you, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I never realized just how hard it is to film and hunt. So it's one thing to collect footage. It's another thing to get good footage. And then on top of that, to be successful, like you're talking, you got everything has to come together. And it's not easy, man. Shout out to everybody who does that because it's freaking tough, man. And then me being from New York, I had to watch my language, which is not easy. Which is not easy for me. I mean, I think I've done pretty well. I think I've gone this far. I think I've gone 39 minutes without a curse word. My mom will be real proud of me. Um, but then, so you got to do all those things, and everything has to come together. Um, and then, so I have an amazing experience, right? I saw so many deer, more deer than I could count. I got a shot at a freaking monster buck. We won't go there, but that
Uh,
vine just snuck in there. And then the next day, I ended up harvesting a buck on camera, which is a great buck, a great public land buck. I
yeah.
was tickled to death, right? Couldn't be more happier. But then I got to recover it with a drone. I got to share it with some friends. The recovery of it was awesome. The build up and everything, and it just the whole build up. And then I got to go from hunter to film to videographer. So I'm videotaping one of our buddies, Eli, in the same stand that I shot, and we're sitting out there in the freaking snowstorm. This blizzard just pops up out of nowhere. So the last couple days, I got to video everybody else hunting. So it was just such an awesome experience. Um, but man, self filming is a whew,
I
I don't
tried
know
to
if
do
I'm
it.
cut out for it.
It is. It's hard. I tried to do it this past season too. I didn't. The times when I could have gotten some deer on camera, I couldn't really move around too much.
Yeah,
It's just it was always something. But yeah.
yeah. There's
So
so
talk to
many
me.
different variables that go wrong.
It
Like
is.
when it gets to a certain temperature, I didn't realize that your batteries die like left and
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta have
Just
it.
I had
Well,
to
tell me
put,
something.
I had to put my hat on top of the camera to keep the snow from, it just crazy stuff. I mean, and the hardest part, like with Eli's hunt, we had deer in range, and I mean, the footage was great. And he's at full draw on these does, and
Uh-huh.
he's just ready, for one of them to pop out. Uh, I mean, so we get like 4, 5, 6 minutes of footage of these does working in the snow. I mean, while the snow's falling, snow's on the ground, open hardwood, like it was beautiful.
Uh-huh.
But trying to get that deer on camera while he can, dude, it was a nightmare. It didn't
I bet
work.
it was.
Yeah, it didn't work.
You
Didn't
know,
work at all.
my daughter wants to tell you something. What is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell them something? Everybody's watching? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
You're gonna tell him you're missing some teeth?
Right now.
What? I was playing with a kid toy.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah. Was it a poppet? Oh, okay.
She's
You
being
can see
silly.
you can see all my kid toys right here. So
But so a couple of topics I wanted to cover tonight.
yeah,
Well,
man.
we'll jump into this one. one was public land, and then the other was like, I was going to talk to you about, getting the kids in the outdoors and how,
Sure.
the importance of all that kind of thing with it. But,
Yeah. Yeah. We'll just, we'll talk about the youth stuff. I have two young kids. Maverick, who's 5, and Noah's 4. So, yes, I have two COVID babies, and they're great. But what I've noticed now, I have my oldest son is 17, right? So the
uh,
gap, yeah, we came out of retirement for the last two, but but when I was a kid, like I had when Aiden was born, I was 25, um, and then 24, 25, and you know, so I'm still kind of young, right?
right.
But we never had the youth opportunities to get into hunting. Like it was like when I was a kid, and I don't know what you went through, but I was wearing my dad's old camo. I was putting,
Oh, yeah. Same.
I was putting garbage bags inside boots just to keep my feet warm or dry while walking through water. You know, there was really no youth camo. It was like you either get an adult XS or adult small, or you wear women's camo. Honestly, um, so like when you're 7 through 13, right? Um,
Mhm.
I mean, Realtree, Walmart, they weren't making youth camo then. They just weren't. You're rocking Carhartt, man, or you're rocking your snow pants or your snowsuit. Like I remember wearing like my one piece snowsuit and then wearing like my dad's camouflage long sleeve shirt that was like a dress, and that was my camo. So like, not that it wasn't fun, but it was difficult,
Yeah, for sure.
Um, now you can go to Walmart and get your kid situated boots, head to toe, camo, for about $100,
Mhm.
$150, and so that takes care of that. I mean, when I was a kid, I was shooting my dad's slug guns. I didn't have a youth 20 gauge. I didn't have a 410 with a turkey choke. I didn't have a bipod. So like I think it's a lot easier, like my firstborn, getting him, which I'll send you a video. I've got a great footage of him killing his first turkey in Ohio on Youth Day. You know, I heard you guys talking about like the trout. I heard you guys talking about the trout derbies and stuff that you have down there. We have those up here for kids. So there's just a lot more attention paid to getting today's youth opportunities to be successful in hunting. Like I don't know about
Mhm.
you, but like we have a weekend where kids 16 and under can go out, with firearms, and it's during the middle of bow season.
Yeah,
Um,
we have stuff like that too.
yeah, every state has it, and I think it's our duty, as hunters. You want to pass that tradition along to your kids, and there's a lot of easy opportunities to do so.
Yep.
And I was fortunate. I got to take my oldest. I know Jeremy, for example, Jeremy's son Branson killed a bird in Illinois, Kentucky, and Indiana this year, all on youth days.
That's cool.
It's crazy, and he filmed
Yeah.
them. It's just such an easy, great opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
And I think Jeremy didn't even hunt Illinois or Kentucky. He just went with he just bought his kid's license and stuff like that because he had his from the previous. And it's like, boom, it's an opportunity. There you go.
Hmm.
Um, New York, we're a little behind the times. We just started doing youth hunts here about 5 years ago. But I can take my kid right now who's 6, and we can
Hmm.
drive to Ohio and do youth hunting. And the apprentice license is good for 3 years. So,
How
for the
far
next
from that?
from where I'm at, I'm just outside Buffalo. Landmark for you. But yeah, I can get to Cleveland in 4 hours. I can get to Columbus in about six and a
Okay.
half.
Yeah. And Bills fan, or
What's that,
are you a big Bills fan, or what?
bro? No,
No. Okay.
no.
My bad. I didn't mean to offend you or anything. If you did, if you.
First off, you didn't offend me. Here, you ready for a story? I'll give you a story. This is true story. This is why I'm not a Bills fan. Okay, and I
Okay.
haven't told this to a lot of people. Okay, I'll tell you now. This
All
is
right. Give
you
it to
want
me.
you want some here. You want some childhood trauma? Okay. So when I'm a kid, right, when I was growing up, the Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls, right? The
I
Jim
remember
Kelly
that.
era. Okay.
Oh yeah. Remember
Oh,
that.
I was rocking the red, white, and blue Zumbas.
Well,
No
I don't
shame.
remember that, but I remember hearing about that. Let me clarify that.
Yeah, relax. You'll get the white someday too. Relax. You got that well manicured right now. Don't worry. That one right there should give you a couple gray hairs. But
For sure.
so Jim Kelly, they're literally like the Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed. Shout out Bills Mafia. Nothing but love for all my buddies. Literally every one of my friends is a Bills fan, and I live
Yeah.
in the heart of Bills country. Okay.
Real quick. I just want to say they are absolutely awesome because they're even here in Augusta, Georgia. Because I was at a birthday party one time at a sports bar, and they had this whole area shut down for one of their big games, and like they were going crazy, and they were awesome.
Okay. My experience, my ex- my ex, I don't know what it is about me, man. And whatever, people can say whatever they want. I don't have that luck. So I've been thrown out and arrested from Bill Stadium twice. I've been punched in the face by an 85-year-old man in Bill Stadium, and somehow it was my fault. Uh, when I was a kid, I went to watch. My guy was Dan Marino. I'm a big Bill. I'm a Dolphins fan. Marino was God. You know, it was like God, Jesus, Marino. Okay, in that order, in my family, and so. But when I was a kid, when I was younger, when my whole family was, my uncles and stuff, and all my friends were Bills fans, so I was a Bills fan. You know, wide right against the Giants, and then they get throttled against Washington. And that season against Washington, uh, my dad takes me to see Larry Bird in a preseason basketball game here in Buffalo against the what used to be the Buffalo Bullets, which is now, the Washington Bullets, right? So 5 rows up is Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Kent Hall, James Lofton, I think, was in that group. Just all these iconic Bills players. My uncle, who's a minister, says, "Hey, come with me. I'll get you an autograph from Jim Kelly." So my uncle's like, "Oh, excuse me, Mr. Kelly, God bless. Just wondering if maybe you could sign my nephew's shirt." And Jim Kelly literally looked right at my uncle and then looked right at me and cursed us out and told us to get the F away from him.
Oh no.
And I sat there in my seat and I cried hysterically at 5 years old or whatever I was. And then I went home and I threw everything out and I became a Dolphins fan right then and there. And I will
Wow.
never look back. No, I love
No.
me some Josh Allen, okay? Josh Allen is a great guy, okay? His
Super
wife's
duper.
not
Yeah.
his wife's not bad. But no, you can't no. Gun to my
Yeah.
head, I'm not rooting for Buffalo. Sorry.
No, you're
Sorry.
good. I figured I'd ask, man.
Unless they're playing the Patriots.
I got you.
I
I know.
think we can all agree we hate the
We can all
Patriots.
agree with that for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a good segue. That's a great story. Yeah, Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly, if you're watching, you hurt my feelings, man.
That's what
And
I'm
you know what
saying,
sucks
man.
about that too? Like Jim Kelly is like a big bow hunter. He's a huge outdoorsman.
Uh,
I mean, I feel like we would get along, but man, that's that guy.
yeah, man. He ruined that chance at a long time ago. I mean, right
I
before.
know. I even wore number 12, and I played quarterback, and I wore number 12, and all that crap. And
Oh
it
man.
sucked, man. Whatever, Jim Kelly.
There
Whatever.
you go. Well, I'm sure he's watching. So, Jim,
Oh,
That's
dude,
what's up,
I'm gonna
man.
send it to him. Trust
Yeah.
me. I'm gonna send it. I got
Exactly
those tears saved in a vial. I'm gonna send those to him too. I'm gonna
exactly
send him my
right.
freaking my Zumbas. Be like, dude, you owe me an autograph.
And that could have been his bad karma why they lost all them daggone Super Bowls.
So there's the rumors around here. You know, obviously, like when you get, you know, Jim Kelly used to have a house in Buffalo, and instead of going to the bars, everybody came to his bar, right?
Okay.
And no, it's kind of like the Michael Irvin Dallas Cowboy days, the White House, where whatever happened in that house, you're not allowed to say. But during that era, he was not the same guy as he is now. He waited until later on in life. I think right around when he started getting he got cancer and stuff like that. He
Yeah.
found the Lord and God bless him and everything like that. But on that day, he scarred me for life.
He could have been having a bad day, I guess. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. We all have them. But yeah. So yeah, you want to public hunting, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about some of the success you had on public, man. A lot of people like hearing about public land.
Oh gosh. All right. So I started hunting public when public wasn't a trend. You know, like public hunting now. You talk to people and you're like, oh, you shot a deer. Was it on public? Like, oh, you shot a big buck. Yeah, but did you do it on public? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, so back, when I got out of college, I started working for a company called Paychecks, and I, they had a great, when you start out, you start like in the basement, man. Like, you're on the phones, telemarketing and crap. But then when you get promoted, you can go pretty much every major city around, the lower 48 had a Paychecks hub. So when you do a year on the phones, you can try and get promoted anywhere in the country. And I'm like, yep, my family's from Indiana. Indiana has big deer, and I'm going to try and get promoted. And it took beating my future district manager in a round of golf on a course in Miami for me to get hired. But you know what? Hey, it is what it is. So, but I get promoted, and then I go out to Indiana, and I'm just like, man, like this is not what I thought. It's just nothing but cornfields, like cornfield, cornfields, goofy looking dudes, and really good looking women, and everybody talks funny. And but like I went through the same thing, like, oh, you're from New York. Oh, you're from New York. Oh, you must be from New York City. You must be, the slick talking, car salesman. I'm just like, man, I come from a one streetlight town in the middle of rural Kendall, New York. Like, pump the brakes, man. Uh, and but then like deer season hits, and man, true to its word, there's so much public land in that state. And just like Ohio, there's a ton of public land in Ohio. There's a ton of public land in Tennessee, Kentucky, Pennsylvania. Um, there's so many opportunities to go and take your skills to a complete other side of the country and see if they translate. And what I found was like hunting in New York, we don't have the deer that they do out in the Midwest. So like you'll go like when we were talking, like you go up in the mountains. My buddy Jay Polito, um, he used to go bear hunting up in the Adirondacks, and he randomly came across these guys that deer hunted, and they hadn't seen a deer track in like 4 years.
Oh
You
my.
know, those mountain deer they roam, they migrate, but those guys cut a track and they're like, see you in a week. And they may chase that same track for 7-8 miles, or if your daughter would prefer 6-7 miles. There you go. And that's the way they did it. But New York here, I think the biggest deer I had seen before I moved to Indiana was maybe 125 inches.
Uh-huh.
So like to go from that to seeing 170-inch buck, you're like, holy crap, there's a difference. Like just the sheer body size of like those deer in the Midwest or these big buck states, you're shooting deer that are 300 pounds and you're like, what the crap? My buddy Brad this year, that Jeremy introduced me to, he shot a 7-pointer that was 9 years old on
Wow.
public land. And that thing field dressed like 240.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So like when my buddies started coming from New York to stay with me and hunt my lease, and this is before public, um, I'm spending $8,000 on a lease, right? And it's 350 acres, and my buddies are coming from New York, and yeah, we're shooting deer, but like to see those quality deer. But then my other buddy that I met there was like, why do you spend that much money on a lease? I'm like, I don't know. That's just the way we do it in New York. He's like, dude, come here. Let me show you public land. And I'm seeing the same quality deer on public land as I'm paying $8,000 for, if not better. And I'm like, holy crap. You mean the whole southern part of the state is public land? Okay. Like, no problem. And so the big difference, that's going back almost 20 years, right?
Yeah.
We were using MapQuest. We were using Google Earth. Like all electronic scouting was done, on Google Earth and doing it that way. We didn't have Onyx. We didn't have trail cameras. Our trail cameras back then were Kodak film, shout out Rochester, New York company, Kodak film, and you'd you'd pull it across like the old, you'd wind it, and then you come back and I don't know, maybe you get a picture, maybe you don't. But like you go get that film, you drop it off at the pharmacy, you get that film developed, and you get an envelope full of pictures, and it was like old school hunting where you actually had to put boots on the ground, figure it out, and go shoot deer. And fortunately for me, sometimes I have a horseshoe that I carry with me. My first out of state trip, we go to southern Indiana, and we go to southern Indiana, and we could not find any of the pins that we pinned on MapQuest and Google Earth because we couldn't get any cell reception. So all this months and months of electronic scouting, we just threw out the window because we had no cell reception down there. So nothing's coming up on our GPS. We're not, satellites aren't dinging, like whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
And, this is the days before Onyx. So we're just driving around, and the first day we just wasted trying to find these spots because all these roads are, 13 South County Road 262, and I'm just like, man, what I wouldn't give for like a railroad Ave somewhere, like like can I just get a street sign that would like words, not numbers?
Yeah.
And then there's street signs that have bullet holes through everything, and it's like, what are we doing down here? And then, it's like, I think that's public. I think that's not posted. I don't know where we are. So day two, we drive around, and I'm like, you know what? Forget it. Just drop me off. I'll find a spot. And so, I walk in and I start seeing deer sign, and I see a scrape and a rub, and I'm like, okay, this is a nice little, bench. This looks like a good pinch point. All right, here's a tree. So, climb up a tree, and then 40 minutes into my first hunt out of state, I shoot 153 and 3/8 11 pointer.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. Shot him at like 8 yards. And it was like a scene out of like everything that we watch. Now, I'm from New York. I've never seen a deer this big before. He field dressed, well over I think he was like 228 pounds field dressed. And now this is my first experience out of state, and So it was like textbook. It's cracking daylight, and I see a doe working up the edge. You know, this edge, this where the thickets meet hardwoods,
Uh-huh.
and she's just working this edge, and right behind her is a small 6-pointer, and I can close my eyes and I can see it today, man. I just look and I just see this behemoth, this Hartford stag going up the hill, down the hill, up the hill, down, and I'm just like, no way. I mean, daybreak was 7:05. It's 7:40. Like this
Yeah.
doesn't happen. Like this is too good to be true. And sure enough,
That's it.
yeah, sure enough, he follows this. He's looking for this doe, and I've got it on film. I was filming from my cell phone. I've got the doe underneath my stand. I'm filming her between my shoes in the grate, right?
Uh-huh.
And this 6-pointer's trying to like walk off before he gets his butt kicked. And I mean, this buck, the deer that I ended up shooting, he's like 200 yards in the middle of the open hardwoods. And I mean, he's still this big. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So, I'll never forget. It was so quiet. And anybody who's hunted down there, man, they know, like that morning, man, it's quiet. You could hear everything.
Yeah.
And this 6-pointer steps on a branch and it snaps. And old boy just stopped what he was doing, made eye contact, and I'm like, oh man, it's on now. And he came on a frozen rope and walked right behind the stand and boom. And it was like a dream, dude. It's like you hunt your whole life in a state like New York where you may never get that opportunity. And you use everything that, like your dad, your grandfather, all your hunting buddies, like this should be textbook, right? And
Uh-huh.
you it should work. Like, oh, I see this on TV, like, the wind's right, and maybe you see a spike, maybe you see a basket rack. It's gotten better, but a mature buck back then may or may not be, a trophy.
Uh-huh.
But then you go to a big buck state and you do the exact same thing, and to have it play out like that, it's one of those moments that, like, man, I hope I can still remember that, when I'm 60 or 70. I'm probably not going to make it to 80, let's be real. But, you know, um, but yeah, I can literally, I can close my eyes, and it's just one of those things that us outdoorsmen, sometimes maybe we
Oh,
take
yeah.
it for granted, but we all have those moments where you can just close your eyes, you can still smell the woods,
For sure.
and,
I
and
I
for me,
remember everything about it. I remember every little detail about that one trophy.
yeah, oh yeah, and it's weird though, but like from that point on, I was hooked.
Yeah.
I mean, hooked. So from there, after I shot that buck, now everybody I've ever hunted with wants to go with me, you know? So, like, deer camp in Indiana kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one year, like, you know, at first, like, the first couple of years, we were staying in this, like, truck stop hotel. And if it wasn't mice getting into our food totes, you're tripping over needles in the parking lot, you know, it was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
And like we're sleeping on top of the bed that we brought our own sheet, and we're in a sleeping bag. Like, I ain't trusting this. Maybe that's New York snob talking, maybe that's East Coast bias, but when you walk out and you're getting solicited in the parking lot, it's like, all right, lady, like, listen, lizard, go away. We're
Go
going
away.
hunting, man. So um but then, like, after that, it turns into we're renting a cabin down there, and with the opportunities that, like, Airbnb or Verbo give you, you can rent these great cottages and these lake houses and stuff all over the country for dirt cheap, and go hunting right where you're staying. It's great. So then, before you know it, deer camp turns into like 5, 6 guys, then 8 guys. And like I went from actually hunting, and I mean every year, I mean like the first like 3 years straight, I think I killed a buck at least 125 and plus. Uh and it was not hard. And I took it for granted because then you start guiding other people and they're missing and you're like, how are you missing, whatever. And then I went and I started actually hunting again, and I'm missing deer after deer. I'm like, man, this sucks. Like, what do I like? It's kind of like I got into a groove where like Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, I mean, I was killing multiple Pope and Young deer a year. And I tell people all the time, like, when you're at that level, stay there. Like, keep doing it. Don't change a thing. When you get in that groove, like, ride that wave as long as you can. But sometimes, like with me, work kind of took over and I was unable to travel. And then, like, when I got back into it, you rust. You get a little ring rust. And then now, I mean, back then, it was a lot easier because there was less people doing it. You actually had to scout. You didn't have to rely on Onyx that shows you, or HuntWise that shows everybody where to go at the exact same spot. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
um, you can buy this software, that Drury came out with, and all sorts of stuff. And there's a lot of cheat codes that you can use. But back then, you had to use some woodsmanship. And now I'm not saying that this next generation, because they're talented, don't get me wrong, but you know, take away the cell cameras and Onyx, and are they really shooting what we were shooting back then? I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't.
Yeah, I would
But
say 50, and who knows? Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's definitely a time for another day. But like now, like that's what everybody's, it's funny. It's like a clone, man. Like you pull into a parking lot on public land now, everybody's got, everybody's got like First Light gear. Everybody's got, real expensive camo. They got the fingertipless gloves. They've got the chest pack with, they all look the same. And
Olivia.
they're all saddle hunting and things like that. I'm not against any of it. I love most of that stuff. I wear some of it, but every single human being looks like they just walked off a YouTube video, you know?
Yeah.
Or they were just an exhibitor at the NWTF show, like, and that's the big difference, because back then public hunting, when I first started out, before it was a trend, um, the opportunities were awesome. You could go hunt public and not see anybody for a week. Now, yeah, right. Not
Yeah.
happening. Not happening.
It's gotten to be a lot more popular down here too, as well. The opportunities and are just getting bigger and bigger, and there's definitely lots of good opportunities here in Georgia as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping to
Oh,
cash in on that here shortly, here, buddy.
exactly. Levi Morris says one sexy man, Brett.
I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean,
Can't
he's
help
got
it.
eyes. I
Yeah,
mean,
can't help it.
you can't help it, man. Husky and handsome. That's my tagline. That's my way of life. But
What's your attitude? I mean, yeah.
now Levi actually. So I actually met Levi turkey hunting in Kentucky, and him and him and I chased turkeys. I mean, you want to talk about hot? Holy crap! I want to say the one day it was like 95 degrees in April in Kentucky, and I'll never forget, man. Like him and I are just sitting there, just sweating, and it's like it's the afternoon, and we hunted like 3 days in the 90s, and there wasn't a stitch of breeze. It was just
Uh,
that southern hot, and it was so miserable, right? And poor Levi, he had never killed. I don't think he had shot a turkey yet. Jeremy introduced me to him, and he had never hunted out of state. He had just, I think he's from like California originally, but I think he's a liar, because that guy literally looks and sounds just like Larry Bird. So, There's no way he's from California. I call BS on that. But him and I, literally, we probably lose 15, 20 pounds of water weight walking the hills of Kentucky chasing turkeys, and we were on turkeys every single day. But it was just weird. Once it got hot, it's like they just stopped moving, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like you had to change tactics, you know? And that's on, like, up here. I mean, we get frost at the end of May still, you know? Like, it's not uncommon. It's really not uncommon to even hunt in the snow in May, you know,
Yeah.
up here. So to go down there and just sweat profusely, even in your tent at night, you're like, what is this? This sucks. But yeah, poor Levi Moore.
Yeah. Everything stops moving when it starts getting that hot.
Yeah, it's pretty miserable when it gets that hot.
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
wonder that's why I got a couple little notes like wrote down.
Okay.
Because I'll probably get off here and probably be trying to go another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, you're
If
good.
that's okay with you.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, man, what do y'all think about, or what do you think about,
Oh, you can
what do you
yeah,
think,
you can country cornbread it up, man. Go ahead.
I know,
You good.
about feeding and stuff like that? What's y'all balls on that up there? And like, are you for like feeding deer and or what's your thoughts on all that?
I mean, it's a real loaded question, man. It's not a bad question at all, but it's real loaded. So we do not have. We are not allowed to bait. There's no baiting, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'll give you my firsthand knowledge, right? Okay, I used to hunt Ohio public deer, and it
Uh-huh.
was my favorite place to go. Like, there's a spot in South Central. Um, you want to talk about a picturesque setting, just beautiful down there, right? And
Uh-huh.
monster bucks. I mean, you're seeing rubs on like telephone poles, like, and it's like Amish country. I mean, just perfect, right? Perfect habitat to shoot big deer. Well, then they legalized baiting,
Yeah.
and you get what you asked for, because this past year I think Ohio was hit the hardest with the HD in CWD, and uh, a lot of that can be traced back to baiting. Um, Now, I think it serves its purpose in the off season. You know, you want to
Mm-hmm.
run salt licks and bait piles and stuff like that to get deer through a hard winter. I'm
Mm-hmm.
all for it, but we don't have the luxury like they do in some of the southern states to run feeders. But then the flip side is, I mean, our soil is so rich in nitrogen. Man, you want to put a food plot in? I'll go brassicas up to the size of my chin. You know,
Wow.
is that a bait
That-
pile?
I
Would you
know.
consider
Yeah.
that a bait pile?
That's been a little topic too. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, think
Yeah.
about this, right? Okay. If I have sugar beets in a food plot in upstate New York, and our
Mhm.
first frost comes middle of October, come November, it's like hunting crackheads over a crack pile. You know, like, am I baiting? You know?
I see your point, and that's been another topic for the guys that talk about it. Is like, what's the difference in a pretty green field or something like that, just like a corn pile?
Yeah. I mean, we have where I live, ag here is huge with corn and beans, right?
Uh,
But by the time mid October hits, all the soybeans are usually out of the field. If they're not, they're yellow, and we all know how that is. Uh, there's a very small window of sweet corn season where, before the farmers get that out of the field, I mean, sweet corn's gold. Uh,
mm,
you know, but then you have feed corn, and then the flip side is, man, when those farmers, like, I had this problem. I have 87 acres that butts up to public land here. And then 19 acres is private, and then it butts up to, another 70 acres or whatever, right? So
Mm.
89 acres. And my buddy and my hunting group and I, Jason and JJ Polito, we've had this debate the whole time. Like, where did the deer go? Well, when the farmer across the street or down the street doesn't harvest their corn, like,
That's where they're at.
what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
And that's the downfall of hunting up here is like, it's a sliver of land, sliver of land, sliver of land. Like you drive a mile and there could be 27 different freaking landowners. You know, what are you doing with that?
Yeah.
So we have 19 acres that we manage or grow or whatever the basically just I want to say we manage it, but really we just don't shoot deer because those last couple of years, the neighbor to the north or the neighbor to the south didn't harvest corn until December.
Oh,
It's like, well, what are you doing then?
yeah.
And it doesn't matter how wet you have on there. And then this year we were littered with acorns, white oaks, or as you guys call it, acorns.
Acorns. That's right.
But we had tons and tons of pictures, tons and tons of this, tons and tons of that, and it just didn't work out. So now we have to pivot, and we're probably going to put in sugar beets and brassicas, because we have to. And so is that a bait pile? Is it a bait pile to walk in the cornfield every single day and knock a couple stalks down? Like,
Yeah. I mean, but you can look at it too, like, you can hold more deer or at least try to hold the deer on 19 acres. I don't know.
yeah, it's a loaded question,
It is.
But
It is.
I'll put it this way, okay? On under no circumstances will I ever, talk crap or look down on somebody who shoots a 200-inch deer over a pile of corn.
Oh,
Like if
sure.
that's what it's allowed, go ahead, dude. Like do it up. As long as you're happy, as long as you're within the law, dude. High five. Let's dap it up and keep it moving, man. Like I'll never quote unquote crap on somebody or talk bad.
For
They're
sure.
doing what
Yeah.
they love, man.
That's right. Everybody's different, man. And then I agree. I agree the same thing. I just like hearing everybody thoughts on it is all and in different areas. I think
Yeah,
it's cool to see how different places go about doing things.
absolutely. Yeah. But up here, it's frowned upon, and we I'll tell you right now, man, I live in the land of Karens, and there's not much you can get away with. I'll be honest, man. Like, I had a guy call the DEC on me, for turkey hunting. I've had hunter harassment. I've had all sorts of stuff, man.
Oh,
You
goodness
know,
gracious.
oh, dude, you want to talk about hunter harassment? Go shoot 3 turkeys in 3 days on public land in Tennessee with New York plates on a Toyota Camry.
Oh,
Drive around, try and drive through the state of Kentucky at night with New York plates. See how many times you get pulled over.
is it? Oh my
Bro,
gosh!
it's bad. It's bad. It's
I didn't
so
think about
bad.
that.
It's to the point now where I don't even want to go that far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I get, dude, you have New York plates. You come out, you're all happy, you got a turkey on your back, you check it in online, you're on cloud nine, and then somebody writes F Hillary or libtard in the dust, and I'm like, bro, I'm rocking a cigar, a turkey, a 12 gauge strap across my on my chest. At what point do I scream, like, tell me where I scream liberal? Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, come on, man. Like, and then you get back to camp and, like, people trash your camp, take a dump in your cooler. Like,
Oh
dude, come
my
on.
God.
Yeah, dude. You know, and it's like, what are you doing, man? Like,
That's what we can't do. As hunters, we can't. We're already a small minority in the big picture, in the big scheme of
yes.
things. We have to support each other. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what the tag says, what they look like, who they support,
Yeah.
none of that stuff. Like we got to come together. You know?
Yeah. You try grabbing a water bottle and pulling out a freaking dump that somebody took in your cooler while you were out hunting, dude.
Oh God.
And it happened. It happened to me. It happened to me in Tennessee. Tennessee was the worst.
Oh,
But dude, Tennessee turkey hunting was great. Oh, it was epic. Epic.
it was so worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dude, those guys can take dumps. They can take a dump in my sleeping bag. They can take a dump in my pillow. I don't care. Just 3 days, 3 birds, and I hunted less than 3 hours. See ya. Like,
There
let's
you go.
go. But
And
no, that's the other side of public hunting. You know, like when you
yeah,
have New York plates, and that's something nobody talks about. Like nobody talks about that, right? But like,
yeah,
you get a game officer thinking that you're smuggling drugs or like smuggling meth out of like the foothills of southern Indiana, and they pull you over and they come up to your car with an AR-15 strapped to their chest, like knock knock knock, who are you? And I'm like, whoa, like whoa, dude, like, calm down, brother, like slow up, man, But that's what they think,
yeah.
uh,
I can
whatever.
understand that. That's
So
crazy, man.
what else? What
So,
else you got for me here?
before we wrap it up, because I probably need to wrap it up here soon. And my daughter wants to show you something, and then
Okay,
also want to or show everybody. Sorry, show everybody something.
everybody.
Everybody who's watching, and then give everybody maybe a good recipe to kind of go on, or that
Yeah,
they can
I got a
write
good
down.
one. It's a great recipe, but it's an easy one too.
Okay,
But go ahead.
what do you want to show? This right here. All right. Well,
Is it the gator head that I saw slide by the camera earlier?
yeah, she's trying to be cute with
Yeah,
it,
she's all right.
and she wants to show you on her YouTube channel.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, cross promotion.
That's right, cross promotion.
All right. Oh, ooh. All right.
Adventures, Adventures with Olivia, right? Olivia.
Good.
And there's this crocodile that
And she wanted to show you all the crocodile.
All right. Olivia, you and your dad might have to make a trip up to Kentucky and do some youth hunting.
There we go.
I got a guy up there that's got some spots. So
Heck yeah. Well, tell us about that. Tell us about that recipe. What you got for us?
I've entered a couple of like chili contests, right? Now, all right. I'm from the Midwest, but I love like that Southern Creole Cajun soul food. Like that's my heritage, right? Like that's what I grew up eating. Come from a very big blended family, so Southern soul food, man. So the chili that I used to make all the time in college, right? So I used to go, goose hunting, duck hunting. So any of like, you know, they call like flyover states, but like we call it like crossover meats, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
your deer shoulder, which can be a little bit tough, right? Like either goose meat, duck meat, especially now with like snow goose season, right? You can do it with just about anything, but so I use this recipe. It's called blind chili, named after like a goose blind or a duck blind. But you take anywhere between 4 to 6 breaths. So, the problem with shooting geese and stuff like that is when you shoot them, you got a ton, you usually shoot a ton of them, right?
Uh-huh.
Uh, but yeah, you can use it with venison, but blind chili, yeah, you cut it up into chunk it up into small chunks, right? Your meat, you throw it in a pan, you sear it with red wine, and then in a crock pot, you're gonna do, your onions, your bell peppers, a bag of corn, celery, and enchilada sauce. So you kind of got that Mexican. So the acidity of the enchilada sauce, right? The red enchilada sauce breaks down the toughness and the gaminess of the meat. Throw it in a crock pot. I'll add Cajun seasoning. I'll add cumin and stuff like that. Smoked paprika, garlic, just to church it up a little bit. But really, all the flavors in the enchilada sauce. So, like when you have venison shoulder meat and stuff like that at the end of the year, you're trying to clean out the fridge, make room for what's coming in. Man, throw that on low or medium heat for 6 to 8 hours. Dude, I've won 3 chili contests with that recipe, and it's literally the easiest recipe, and I've been making it since I was 16 years old. And I mean, every Sunday night, man, you plug in the crock pot in a dorm kitchen, and you just wait, and people just smell it, and they just come, and it's just like, it's kind of, you can put it over rice, you can eat it just like that, like a soup, and man, it's epic. I'll tell you that right now, it's freaking good. Like, it's still my favorite.
Yeah, you got my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, if you like, if you've ever had like Mexican food as far as like enchiladas and stuff like that, that red enchilada sauce, but throw whatever veggies you want in there. But the mainstays is obviously peppers and onions, because obviously the acidity breaks that down. But throw a little beef broth in there to thin it out. It's the easiest thing to do, man, and it's so good. So.
It sounds amazing, that's for sure.
So chunk your meat, saute your meat about halfway through, right?
Okay.
Then enchilada sauce, beef broth. Your veggies are bell peppers, whatever colors, it don't matter. Get you some big white onions, celery, and corn. Frozen bag of corn works just fine. You don't have to get all crazy, but there's nothing better, man. That's your recipe right there. Blind chili by Chef Brett. There you go. And yes, that is award-winning.
Award-winning recipe right there for everybody watching, or for everybody that will watch this. There you go. Well, man, I appreciate having you on, bro. I really enjoyed talking with you. And I appreciate everything.
Yeah.
Tell us about what's your YouTube. Tell everybody your YouTube channel. I forgot to talk about that earlier.
Yeah. So Jeremy Bell and I, obviously he's the mastermind behind it. He's the brand. I'm just the guy. I'm just the guy that that gets to tag along and look cool. But it's the public grind. Yep. It's the public grind, and
I think I follow that on. I think I follow that on Spotify or YouTube or something.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah, he's doing great, man. And anything I can do to help him, and hopefully this spring, I've gotten more involved. I've gotten, we've made some funny reels and stuff like that. I did a lot of filming here in New York this year. So like, as he's obviously like he was in the NWTF show, he was working for Blocker Outdoors down there, representing them, kissing babies, shaking hands, doing all that stuff while I was out here, cooking brunch for white women. But he's doing great, man. He's doing a really good job with it. Anything I can do to help him, I'm gonna do it. And so yeah, this was just an opportunity to rep the brand and talk about some of our goofy stories. He hates podcasts, mainly because you can't understand a word that comes out of his mouth. He's he's Southern Mississippi. He's from Grenada, Mississippi, and there's a lot of daggum that comes out of him. Yeah. So he gets this. So he gets this Northerner to do all the talking for him.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Somebody's got to do it, right?
Hey, you just if the shoe fits, you just wear it and run.
I like that. That's another good one.
Yeah, there you go. I got full of them, man. Rhythm with the tism, baby.
Rhythm with the tism. I know that's right. Well, all right, then, brother. Well, it's good talking to you, man. And we'll try and touch base and get together soon. And
Absolutely.
Stay in touch with me and let me know how y'all do. And I guess in about another month.
Oof, I know it's coming so fast.
Coming so fast.
Yeah. He actually called. I got to call him back here, but I appreciate it, man. And if anybody ever wants to reach out, Obviously, we can shoot the breeze, but I'm open if anybody wants. New York is I think it's my job, it's my duty as an outdoorsman here in New York to promote this state. And if anybody wants to, talk opportunities about hunting, fishing, or anything like that, obviously it's a pretty awesome place to vacation too. But uh, give me a shout, reach out to me, Facebook message me, whatever you got to do. But yeah, I'm not opposed to swapping hunts and doing cool stuff like that. By no means do I, pull up to camp, whatever camp it is, with a camera crew or like anything like that. I'm
Yeah.
just a regular dude that's had some really good luck, and that's it. So thanks for
That's
having me
it.
on, man.
No, man, I really appreciate it, Brett. And we'll talk again soon, brother. And I'll talk at you later, man.
All right, see you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
So hey,
Well, it's back. All right, there we go. So let me show y'all something real quick. I want to show y'all these shirts.
you've been sweating.
Yep. It's hot up here.
Oh yeah, because I just have to open one of my.
So if y'all want one of these shirts for the expo or at the
Read this time and
expo,
listen to them.
come get one.
And guys, also like and subscribe to my page, it's his page, and make sure to follow us.
We appreciate it, everybody. And
Yep.
stay tuned. Stay tuned next week. We'll try to have another guest on next week. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, another guest next week.
And I'm a child, and I love hunting. I love fishing. I love golfing. I love everything with my dad. I love doing everything with my dad.
Oh.
So, make sure that y'all know that we love y'all. Okay?
That's right. We do love y'all. I thank y'all for watching tonight. Will you go hit the finish button?
Yep. Bye, guys. Love you guys.
Bye, y'all.